Hello friends I made this for. My name is Lauren and today we have another indie deck review. This deck review is by an artist that is actually local to me. It's Holly Simple is the artist behind this tarot deck, and I'm specifically going to be looking at the Holly Simple Tarot. So let's dive into the review, shall we? This is what the box looks like. It's actually a smaller sort of box. And if we look at the back, there is some writing. The writing on the back says, "The tarot does not act as a fortune teller." Love that. "Use the cards to bring awakening and awareness." Also love that. "Willingness to experience truth is the first step toward growth and healing." Love it. Love what we're already setting the stage with this deck, even before opening it. We have some good silver shine to some of the pieces. Deck includes 78 tarot cards, 1 cheat sheet card, and an artist trading card. Designed and illustrated by Holly Simple, Brooklyn, New York. So as far as I know, Holly still lives in Philly, but this deck was printed, first printed in 2016. So perhaps they were living in Brooklyn, New York at that time. But again, really interesting packaging. I really love pink. It might not show by my clothes. I don't wear pink, but I love to paint with pink. I love to make art with pink and a lot of soft pastels. So I really appreciate the packaging on here, and we see a lot of fingers. Love that. So let's dive in. So I actually have been using this deck for a few years, and just now decided it would be a good time to share. This is what the back of the cards look like. Again, we can see a theme of the pastel variety. I'm actually going to be using this deck to make another video specifically about temperance and the lovers for the full moon. So you're going to see this outfit twice in 1 week for the first time. So this is the art card, the tradable, collectible art card. I dig it. One thing I've got to say is Holly is a lot like me in that this is not art for everyone. This is kind of a niche, funky art. So I appreciate that about their work. And as you can see, this is a basic box. You know, good cardboard. It's got a little finger where you can fold it back in. Pretty simple, straightforward, not super flimsy, but not super strong. It's just a basic foldable box that is able to store all your cards. And the cards actually have, it might be hard to pick up, but a slight texture to them. That's not usually something that I go for. It makes me a little less, I don't want to say happy, but just less inclined. I don't stylistically like that for my decks, but that is a personal choice. I like a smooth cardstock, not a textured kind of cardstock. Again, as an artist, myself, who is working on their own work, my own tarot deck, and just am finalizing my coloring book, I can be a little bit more picky. So if this is your first time watching a review by me, please know that a lot of this is very particular because I'm a very particular person. Sorry. So let's actually dive into the content of this deck, shall we? So first things first, when we look at these cards, you're going to notice that a lot of them are very simplistic. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. See, I really like this Two of Pentacles, the duality that it embodies. This is Father of Pentacles, a little rattlesnake friend with a little head on top. Ooh, and we have Son of Swords. here. So we see very straightforward, very simplistic art. And again, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's not going to be easy for you to read these cards if you're not already comfortable with them. Now, there is a cheat sheet card that comes with this deck, as it states on the back. And I actually like the idea of this, if it fits in with the deck of cards rather than necessarily a booklet. Now, why is that? That's because I just feel like it takes up less space, but at the same time, both these cards I always put to the side. And that's being very picky, but it's just, I don't always like to look at this because it's a little short. Of course it's short. It's like 1 or 2 words, but I actually really like how this is broken down. The style of this follows the art. So with swords, it says reason, wands, creativity, cups, emotions, and pentacles, materialism. Now, is that oversimplification? Absolutely. This is just a cheat sheet. So there's really like just the bare bones that you're getting as far as context around these cards, right? So and then we have the number of the cards right here, including daughter, son, mom, dad, right? So let's say we want 2 of wands. 2 of wands on here, the word is progress. Again, is that necessarily wrong? No. Would that be what I would use for the one word? Probably not. But the truth is all of us have different keywords to our tarot decks and tarot cards that we resonate with. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a difference of opinion. Let's go for 10 of Pentacles. What does 10 of Pentacles have? Wealth. I don't necessarily like that, but again, opinion. Let's say Son of Swords. Son of Swords, which we pulled just a second ago. Haste. So moving very quickly. I would agree with that quite a bit, but I think a lot of that makes sense just in general. And yeah, so you can use this. Let's see, what is temperance on here? Temperance, since I'm making a video of that next. Temperance. Balance, patience, moderation. We'll talk about that more later. The lovers. Where is that on here? Love, union, bonds, alignment, relationships. So these are very simplistic ways of reading the tarot, but this is a very straightforward little card, right? There's no ooh, what does it mean? What does it mean? It's very straightforward and giving it to you how it is. So as someone who collects the tarot, ooh, here we go. This is Temperance. Putting that aside to use. Ace of Cups, I really do like the aces, and I enjoy the weird stylization of this deck. It's very charming, super cute. I love the line quality because it allows it to be human. It allows it to be different. I like the faces being put on things. I like the color design that's going into this. As someone who is working on their own tarot deck and it's going to be really funky, I appreciate how funky this is. Now, I have to. Have you noticed anything that I like to complain about on these cards? It's nothing to do with the quality of the artwork. But do you notice the thing that I brought up that I don't like? This is a very personal irk. But each card says Holly Simple Studio. And as you know, actually I love this 2 of Cups. As you know, that is a pet peeve of mine. You don't have to sign every card or have your name on every card in the deck. It's just not necessary. You don't need to do it. Love those hands, though. Love those hands. So that's just a personal thing. Three of Swords is actually really good. That really taps into what that feels like, I think, for me. Ooh, the Empress also. Pretty good, pretty good. This is not going to be a deck for everybody, and I think that's pretty clear in how the art is very much niche, and I appreciate that as a niche artist. Now, would I have liked it if they just said the Hanged One instead of the Hanged Man? Yes, because as you know here, that's another thing. I like to degender the tarot a little bit more, so the Hanged One is an easy way to do that. But is it necessarily a deal breaker? No. Would I recommend this deck to a newbie? I don't think so, just because I feel like you would be looking at this constantly and it would become your blueprint. Now, if you don't mind that as being your cheat sheet and your blueprint for your tarot deck, that's fine. But if you are just getting into reading or just reading for yourself, you're going to have a hard time because this is just a very simplistic as far as art goes. And there is some really profound visuals. I like the devil. But if you're not like accustomed to reading, these might really stump you bad. And that's not necessarily anything against the art. It's just a reality when we get simpler with the design. Our interpretation or translation as new baby readers can get a little difficult, but it's not a bad deck. Yes, I wish there wasn't Holly Simple Studio on every single card. I just think it's unnecessary. I already see it on the box. It's already on this card. I wouldn't even mind it if it was just on this card. See, right there. Just keep it there. That's fine. What I find interesting is it's not on the art card. And I feel like it's more appropriate on the art card than necessarily every single card within this deck. But that's not to say you shouldn't get this. This is a beautiful deck. Very interesting, very intuitive, original. I love that all the wands look like that sort of thing. Ooh, the Magician. Very cool deck. But with that said, that's kind of my opinions on this deck. If you're a collector, I would recommend this to any collector because this is just a really interesting deck. You're going to be hard-pressed to find something so unusual in a store. If you come across this in a store, I would definitely snag it just because how often do you see wacky like designs for tarot like this where it's bright and simplistic but charming? So yeah, that's my final thoughts. Don't do it if you're a baby witch. It might just get you confused or wrapped up in the one words when really, if you're getting started with your tarot practice, I highly recommend, and I've talked about this in other videos, getting the most basic deck like a Smith Rider-Waite deck or anything within that vein. That way you are using the foundation of tarot to influence where you go forward and how you evolve what you're doing. This might get you wrapped up in the nitty-gritty details and might not be as supportive, but with that said, what do you think? Oh, Death, that's a good one. Do you have this card? Or this deck? Do you love it? Are you still trying to connect with it? Have you seen it? Let me know, as always, in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Subnormal Child. I'll link all of that down below. And of course, make sure to stay open to all the magic that is tarot. Make sure to let me know what you think. Ring the bell so you can be notified whenever I'm putting out new content. June is the month I'm trying to get back into the saddle and really put out a lot more content. And of course, if you want to work with me, my website is in my link tree along with my store and everything else. But with that said, friends, I hope you found this helpful. I hope you have a beautiful day. And until next time, Bye bye.